Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, the Bar Association defends integrity of the judicial system after public statements alleging bias against a sitting judge. Missing school teacher and son found in the forest near Shortier Pool Tuesday morning. And the Cancer Society's fundraising efforts seriously impacted by COVID-19. The details coming up.
Corner, yay, and in our hearts we are with you. We are so grateful for all you do. We wanna say thank you, 'cause when we need you, you're always there, risking it all to keep us safe. You are our heroes, so we sing the song for you. No matter the time, you're by our side to always make sure we are secure. Our hearts are filled with thanks, 'cause you give your all and more. So we send in the love from Sagicor. Yes, Sagicor, sending our love to you.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
First up in the news, Senior Counsel Anthony Astafan says he is disappointed that the High Court Justice Bernie Stevenson has recused herself from an elections petitions matter. Following the December 2019 general election, the UWP filed petitions challenging the outcome of 10 out of the 21 constituencies. Opposition leader Lennox Linton told Q95 Justice Stevenson cannot be fair, impartial, independent and objective where the dispensation of justice as it involves the UWP is concerned and should therefore recuse herself from this matter. Justice Stevenson was expected to rule on government's application to have the matter struck out, an application which was due to be heard on Wednesday. Senior Counsel Anthony Astafan says the judge was forced to take this action for her safety to protect herself from what he says is a criminal assault on radio and social media.
And that recusal was not based on any jurisprudential, in my view, based on what I've seen and heard so far, factual or legal basis. Because the suggestion that Madam Justice Stevenson has had any sort of bias against the United Workers' Party is absolute nonsense. There's been no appeal by Lennox Linton on the rapist case. I have seen none. On the Westbridge case, I have not seen or heard of the prosecution of any appeal. In the Salisbury riot matter, she ruled in favor of the United Workers' Party and their supporters. She was overturned by the Court of Appeal. She ruled for the respondents and against the petitioners in the Loftus-Jura matter. She was fully confirmed by the Court of Appeal. This is the first time that the second time that a judgment of hers has been set aside. I'm talking about the magistrate's matter. And it was a split decision, where the dissenting judgment was the more powerful, reasoned, and correct judgment, in my view. But the matter is going to the CCJ. What we have here is a deliberate smear campaign, calculated in dishonestly, falsely and maliciously calculated by Lennox Linton and the United Workers' Party to undermine the integrity of one of the fundamental institutions of our society, which is the High Court judge. And I think this is the first time from the Associated States Court from '67 to the independent Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court have I ever seen or heard of such a vicious, hostile, fraudulent, malicious campaign against the integrity of a judge. And the judge felt, I have absolutely no doubt that she could not and will not physically, mentally, intellectually, emotionally tolerate that sort of abuse. Abuse which in many cases included utterances which threatened her physical safety and her life. And I want to know, what are the civil societies, the NGOs doing and saying about it, what it is that the police are saying and doing about it.
Meantime, the Bar Association is also appealing to those seeking justice in the courts to exercise prudence and pragmatism when making public statements or comments. The local bar says in a statement released Tuesday, this is to avoid chipping away at the reputation of the judicial system and public confidence in the dispensation of justice and our local court system. The Bar Association says it is aware of recent statements made on radio and social media alleging bias against a sitting judge. The statement released Tuesday also noted that the demand that the judge recuse herself from hearing a striking out application brought by the government of Dominica against election petitions filed with regards to the December 6, 2019 general election. The release says, assignment of judges are done by the Chief Justice, who may at any time reassign these justices. The release goes on to state that Justice Stevenson is assigned to the civil jurisdiction of the High Court, but because of COVID-19, the High Court has not been sitting and both resident judges have heard civil matters. It states with regard to the independence of the judiciary and the dispensation of justice, our justice system enjoys a reputation that all who seek justice can have full confidence in. In other news now, a school teacher and her 8-year-old son who went missing in the Benz area on Monday were rescued on Tuesday morning. Erica Valerie and her son went to the Chaudière pool and had not returned until they were found Tuesday. Volunteers joined the police in the search.
We did find teacher Valerie this morning approximately by 8 o'clock, between 8 and 8:30. She was found alive and well, with a little some bruises on her back, on her hands from we call razor grass, some people call zeb coupant. Son also had some on himself, and the guy who found her was Jackson Celestine, and he found her going somewhere up the river, and exactly the position where the crew said we don't think she could be there. That's exactly where she was. We must say thank God that she's well. Our son is well, and they were taken to the hospital, I guess, just for observation. On behalf of the community of Benz, we are thankful to God for she being back alive and well, so she can be reunited with the rest of her family. Thank you to all the volunteers who went out to search and look, and especially the policemen who came out with us 2 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was concerned who didn't go to work this morning. Thank you very much for showing so much interest in someone who maybe you don't even know, and that tells we can have faith in humanity. I believe in the love that humanity have for each other.
In more news now, fundraising efforts for the Dominica Cancer Society significantly disrupted by the COVID-19 crisis. Here is Andrea Louis with more.
The Dominica Cancer Society is essential to helping cancer patients receive treatments both here and abroad, and plays a key role in financing such ventures. The outbreak of COVID-19 in March brought with it a turnabout for the way of life in Dominica, leaving the business community severely impacted. Vice President of the Dominica Cancer Society, Kathleen Cornelius, says despite the setback, the society is determined to continue its plans to raise funds for patients and survivors.
Well, we are continuing to plan. Our fundraising has been significantly affected. We had quite a couple activities we had to cancel or completely. For example, we had a Grandmother's Day activity, and that had to be put on the shelf. We continue planning it, and June is Survivors Month, and this is when we hold our annual candlelight service.
Cornelius vows the candlelight service will happen, though the format will depend on the advice of the authorities.
We are actively planning. We are thinking of having it virtually, but like every other Dominican, we are waiting to hear what the reports will be. whether or not people will be able to meet in a congregational gathering and what are the limits that are being set. And whatever it is, the service will go on. If we can't meet physically, we will have the service virtually, because this for us is one of the cornerstones, one of the pillars for us as a society that we look forward to. And we want to ensure as much as possible we pay homage to the many fallen soldiers and we provide support for those who are here, and we continue encouraging the many survivors who are around us. So we will be having a service whether it is virtually or physically.
The flagship fundraising event, Walk for Cancer Cure, which usually takes place in October, is still in its planning stages. Cornelius is hopeful that this activity will be able to take place.
We continue to plan the work. Ironically, we have sponsors who are very interested in promoting the work with us this year. And we continue to plan, and we just hope that soon the COVID situation will be minimized. I don't know if it will be completely eradicated, but that we can have this activity. This is our signature activity, and this is how we generate most of our funds to help persons. So we are looking forward to ensuring that the work takes place as long as it is physically possible.
And government is expected to release details of a further easing of the COVID-19 restrictions this week. Consideration is being given to making further adjustments in the restrictions, particularly as community testing has not shown any further spread of the pandemic.
In view of our present situation, where we have no evidence of community spread, it is being considered to further relax the restrictive measures regarding the curfew hours, and also allowing the remaining businesses which are presently not open to do so. That's to include tour operators, staycations, cinemas, bars, Lotto Blast, and gyms, as well as the returning of public officers to their normal pre-COVID stations and arrangements.
The first cohort of 100 Dominican students who have been studying abroad were due to arrive here on Tuesday.
The returning home of our fellow Dominicans and increasing relaxation of our restrictive measures should not result in us letting down our guard and losing focus. The public health and social measures, such as washing of hands, proper wearing of masks, and physical distancing, must remain in practice. This new normal way of life calls for a change in mindset from all of us, particularly the youth, since you, more likely than not, will in the future face other health emergencies of concern. Our challenge remains the opening of our borders, but that is the challenge for every country. Opening the borders does present the risk of importing cases, which we are fully aware of, particularly if it's done too early. And as I've mentioned before, this cannot be done in isolation, but should be done with the wider region in mind.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. Dominicans benefiting from the recently launched backyard gardening program are being urged to use the project as a means of food security during the hurricane season. We go again to Andrea Louis for more.
The backyard gardening program was launched by the Ministry of Agriculture in April as part of its coronavirus food production plan to ensure citizens have a secure food source during the pandemic. One of the concerns of the ministry officials was individuals who did not have enough backyard space to start a garden, hence missing out on the distribution of seedlings. Coordinator of the Disaster Risk Management Project in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Mario Kazimi, says while the ministry was cautious that some individuals with extra backyard space may sell the excess produce, beneficiaries of the program were advised to share the vegetables with those who don't have a backyard garden.
The program had that concern, but the design in terms of the packages as per your total area with regards to the potential area of your backyard limited the amount of plants that you could get, because obviously we would not have wanted someone to go out walking with 2 trays of cucumbers. We would know that would have some kind of commercial pursuit. Notwithstanding there are options and there are exceptions to the rule, because what do you tell someone who has land space but their neighbor does not have land space and opts now to actually produce in excess for himself and his neighbor? So these were some of the variants that we had to look into. But the design of the program limited it really and truly to backyard.
Though the ministry is pleased with what it already sees as a surplus of produce for local consumption, a proper method of storing or utilizing crops, especially during the hurricane season, is integral over the next few months.
It is evident as we walk around as consumers that we have a bumper crop on our hands. We see a very heightened increase in terms of the production of tomatoes. We see a lot of carrots on the market. Now this augurs the opportunity for us to do something much more than this basic production. It augurs the opportunity for exports, and it also augurs the opportunity for agro-processing. And this, as we speak, with regards to hurricane season, is of significance with regards to the availability of food as we speak within this kind of natural disaster eras. So the concern for the Ministry of Agriculture is really and truly the ability to actually have the systems in place for actually have some adequate supply of food storage in place, because that is of concern, you know, our ability to store food, especially in this kind of treacherous times, hurricane season.
The Environmental Health Department joins weather forecasters and the Office of Disaster Management, urging the public to prepare for the hurricane season with COVID-19 in mind. This time around, citizens are being told to ensure their disaster preparedness plan includes more than just dry goods and flashlights.
We also want to remind the general public that we are in the hurricane season and we are all required to plan not only for the upcoming season, but also to take into consideration the COVID-19 pandemic. All householders should ensure that there is adequate supply of water. Begin stocking up all the necessary supplies of dry and canned foods. Also, for the individuals who may have to access emergency shelters, ensure emergency supply kit is equipped with all the necessary items such as medication, hand sanitizers, masks and gloves. The Environmental Health Department continues to monitor the environment and the activities of the public to safeguard the health of the populace.
And the Adult Education Division is looking to come out of coronavirus with a new look. The division is responsible for providing classes for individuals on a variety of topics, both academic and vocational. Director of the division, Nadia Pinard, says the institution hopes to empower more people after the crisis.
We want people to realize that adult education, despite this pandemic, we're still alive. And we don't need to be in an actual classroom, physical classroom, to meet you. We can take advantage of all the technical opportunities it has. So we'll be reaching out to our public, and we want to just like use it as a promotion, like use this not as a disadvantage, but to big up ourselves, to bring up, to let people create an awareness. We want to come out from this better than we were before. So we start off a campaign so everybody will know adult education is not just about people learning to read or so, but too that we are more about empowering our citizens to be self-sufficient and to be able to like take care of their families without having to depend on the government, and that's what we're trying to do.
The division is on a drive to assess the needs of the community and provide better courses based on demand.
What I heard or found out was that people saying when you go to the village, adult education is still there. Like they were not aware. We are there, but like silent. So like we needed to let people know that we are there, not just to teach the basic literacy and numeracy, but we're there to educate our adults in anything, whether it's to learn a skill, whether to improve their CSEC grades or something. But it has always been active, but somehow like we were not making use of the technology out there. We were not advertising enough. Marketing is important. Like people get to know like you are there, not what you offer and what they can, and find out from them what they need and work with them. So that's why we're on a drive to like assess the public, get to know what they want and see how we can develop them holistically.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. The Bar Association defends the integrity of the judicial system after public statements alleging bias against a sitting judge. Missing school teacher and son found in the forest near Chaudière Pool on Tuesday morning. And Cancer Society's fundraising efforts seriously impacted by COVID-19. You may access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.